Hey, what's up guys? Mark here, Silversound Guitar. Welcome to another quick tip of the day. So far, just to recap, we've talked about proper technique for your fret hand. We've talked about ways to hold your pick. So the next thing that makes logical sense, because you're probably in that position where you're working on chords, you're working on rhythm, you're working on all these different things. All right, one thing that I think a lot of people when they're first starting out with guitar is we don't realize what we're allowed to do with our palm mutes, with our muting in general. Okay, something to kind of showcase this for you. On this part of our hand, what we want to do ideally, rest our hand right across here, and you can kind of see this. What we want to avoid is thinking that this hand is the only thing that we've got access to on the guitar, when in fact this one right here is also going to be one of those things that helps us mute. So for instance, if and I'm going to use a 7-string today, so if I'm playing essentially a G chord and I don't want to play that, you can literally rest part of your hand so that it doesn't ring out. What you're allowed to do in that particular case is you're using left hand to mute. You could also, incorporate this a little bit harder if you're doing something maybe that is a little more power chord driven or something, right? And let's say you've got distortion and now you need to start bringing in some of these palm mutes. That's something that you can think about as well. So what you can do is you can kind of rest your hand across there and you can get your normal palm mute technique, right? Because again, remember these videos are to help you with kind of some quick tips to work on some of those things that you're doing that you've already been learning. So the idea with this is that, wow, did you realize that you're able to mute with not just one hand, but both hands? Okay, and this creates kind of a little more, control over especially stuff like distortion or overdrive, which is some of my favorite things to play. But when you're first starting out, this kind of stuff becomes hard to maintain, hard to fight against. So if you're sitting here and you're thinking, wow, I didn't realize that I can do this. You'll see guitar players do this all the time where they're using different parts of their hand across the fretboard like this, and it's muting whatever works easier for them. So now even if I'm playing this, you can't hear that B string. That's something that I think a lot of people overlook, especially when they're using, again, those distortions. What's nice about this, though, is this isn't just a palm mute technique that you can use. Again, this works with what we talked about with your open chords as well. It works with not only your open chords, your power chords, your bar chords, right? If you want extra control, use that fret hand to isolate certain notes, certain strings that you don't want to hear, right? Along with your palm muting for this hand, and you can combine those together, and now you get a more controlled tone, which that's going to be another way to get that sound that you're hearing too from guitar players that have been playing for a very long time. They've got these natural kind of movements that they're doing with both hands, and this is going to be something that's going to increase that technique, increase that sound, and it's going to make you just a better guitarist. So hopefully this was helpful for you. I'll see you next time.